Hello, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Vanessa Franco Suwa, and I am your teacher for this subject. So, before I am going to start, okay, let me give you a recap of what we have discussed last meeting. So, yesterday we discussed about ethics in digital education, particularly your techno ethics. So, from the word itself, technology, plus your ethics, no, the principle or the field of study where we're able to know how we should act, no, we uphold moral ethical values. And you know um based on our discussion last meeting, we tend to identify the relationship of ethics to technology, wherein, as we have mentioned, that technology is incapable of having this moral or ethical values, but it is us humans who holds, no, the principle of how to um responsible and ethically use technology. That is what we call technoethics. Now we will be discussing another, no, another phenomena in our education with the use of digital education, ethics in digital education, which is your data security and data issues. Okay, so let's start. So, in this discussion class, okay, we're done with the technoethics, but expect that in this discussion, we will be discussing about the security, data security, data issues, information disorders, copyright and plagiarism, and the digital citizenship. So, since we're done with your technoethics, let's go with your um data security and data privacy. But before that, let's give an introduction. So, along with the advances in technology, education is experiencing a significant transformation. Of course, if we can observe the education right now and before, no, massive transformation has happened. Okay, digital education, are often called e-learning, has become a major platform for expanding access to education, improving the quality of learning, and encouraging overall student engagement. So we'll say digital education class kasi parang kanina pa natin to minimension what is education is all about, diba? It is the incorporation of technology in our education. It is also called e-learning. Okay? Kasi this is to improve your quality of learning and encouraging overall student engagement. Kasi if we tend to observe the panahon now and the panahon before, it is quite very different na. So what if class wala kang until now nagasulat yapon ta sa ano no, instead of this giving you a recorded ano, ginasulat ko pa na sa Manila paper te, right? So that is what we call digital education. This process that I am doing right now, the yes, no, it is also called digital education na. Although class na we are not in classroom today and I am here in my house and you is in your house na. But still we are still connected and I tend to provide you this material, right? That is digital education. Next. So another is, 'di ba, digital education. Okay, before we tend to dive with your data security and data privacy, let's have this introduction to digital education so that our brains are filled with knowledge about this digital education trend. So digital education trends refer to the developments and changes in the way education is delivered, accessed, and implemented by utilizing digital technology. Just like yesterday class, we discussed about those issues, those social and ethical issues that confronts us educators, especially if we are able to implement the use of technology, 'di ba? We tend to discuss the globalization, ano pa ba, digital divide, the digitization and cyberbullying. Yan po yung mga challenges that we need to confront when we tend to integrate digital. in our education field or education milieu na tinatawag. So, ganon. So, ano po ba yung um, benefit ng pag-incorporate ng digital education or digital pag-digitize na ng ating education, nagiging e-learning na siya? Accordingly, it increased accessibility, time and place flexibility, and interactive engagement. Ganun daw po yun. So, 'di ba? As of now, we can manifest excuse me, one of the benefits of digital education, time and place flexibility, right? I'm in my house and you in your house, right? So yes, say amen. So ganon. Agree? So right now, class, we will be discussing data security and data issues. 'Di ba? The technology we teachers in this 21st century, 'di ba, we tend to promote the use of technology inside our classroom. Kasi na sinasabi na it promotes accessibility, ano pa, flexibility, ano pa, personalization, and all. We're in class, if we tend to promote that one, it is inevitable for us, class, na to deal with massive data sa students natin. Kasi we're using technology eh. We are integrating or incorporating this kind of emerging technologies in our educational system or educational field. So therefore, it is inevitable for us to collect data. Pag sinabing data, it is the information. So ano po ba yung pinagkakaiba ng data security and data privacy? So when we say class na data security, this is the technological and physical specifications that guard against unwanted access into the computer network and help preserve data integrity. From the word itself, secured, secure, okay? Take note of this word, secure, security, guard. 'Di ba? Gano ang guard, 'di ba? There are those someone or people that secures, 'di ba? Secured or really have to guard, bantayan, 'di ba? Kasi it is inevitable class na baka those people who tend to access data, they're so-called hacker, right? May mga tao talagang loko-loko na they would able to use in personal information for their personal interest. So that is why data security is very important. And when we say naman class na data privacy, this deals with the confidentiality and individual rights regarding ownership, usage, and legal sharing of data. So data privacy, it means confidential ito siya. Okay? Data privacy, confidential, hindi ito pangkalahatan. Okay? It's not overt, I guess, 'di ba? So, confidential. So, meron tayong data privacy. Confidential. You tend to protect your own sanctuary, your own self, your own data. Okay? That is data privacy. So, in this country class, so sa Philippines, we do have this RA 10173. This is also called your Data Privacy Act. So, since 'di ba sa ano ngayon, especially lahat-lahat class is digitized na. Ultimo class na mag-answer ka ng quiz sa Google form, you would able to what? To input your email address, 'di ba? Your Google account. And sometimes class, it is very kurulbaan. No, nakakaba. It gives us fear na we're in baka gamitin ang ating mga personal information, no, with ng mga taong may personal interest. Ganon. So, we have class RA 10173 or Data Privacy Act. Generally, this law protects the privacy of individuals, ensuring free flow of information to promote innovation and growth. Next, regulates the collection, recording, organization, storage, updating or modification, retrieval, consultation, use, consolidation, blocking, erasure, or destruction of personal data. Ito po yun, class. Sa Data Privacy Act, class, RA 10173. Kasi class, di ba, pag sinabi natin data privacy, it is the confidentiality. Not just the information itself, but you yourself also. Did you know, class, na if you're familiar with this particular persona sa TikTok, did you know na na-cancel siya? Like someone or the council of LaSalle was able to call out this person kasi nagvi-video siya, class inside the classroom. So, data privacy yun siya, class. Kasi, especially if you tend to take or record videos sa person or sa mga people na hindi ka naman naghumingi ng permission. Ganon. 'Di ba? Ito yung sinasabi dito, this privacy, pwede ka niyan kasuhan, class, if nagpataka-taka ka lang dira ka video. Okay? Nag-ano ka lang dira. So, you can have this, pwede ka kasuhan, class. Kasi, we have this act called RA 10173, the Data Privacy Act. Aside from it protects the privacy of individuals, it also regulates the collection, recording, ganon. Kasi yung TikToker na yon nagre-record siya. So, ang mga tao doon sa TikTok may no, sa room ng Lasal are very sensitive masyado, 'di ba? May sensitivity na tinatawag, especially sa self nila. What if pala very very important VIP yun sila ng mga ano, right? So ganun, Data Privacy Act. Next, okay? So sa field ng education, class, it is inevitable na we tend or educational institution tends to collect personal information. Do you agree? Right? So, personal information, class. Ano po ba yung mga personal information? So, accordingly, class, di ba, information is critically important in many organizations, including educational institutions. So, they process large amounts of data, especially about students. Yung name nyo, class. Yung personal identity nyo, your academic records, your medical records, and disciplinary records. Ganon. Ito yon. So, because the world today is very nakamasyado ka-digitized, 'di ba? Technology is ubiquitous, right? Ngayon, class, you tend to, just like what I have said or mentioned earlier, you tend to type really your names, your age, the place where you live in, or reside in, right? And if wala tayong effective or what do we call this one, cyber security na tinatawag or data security, someone who would able to really secure the information, madali itong mahack. Okay? Ganon. That is why its implication is for us to really, no, for us teachers to really secure or to safeguard our own data, our own privacy. So, meron po tayo dito, okay? Kasi, wait lang. Kasi class, data and technology as means to improve learning. Ano ba ang kahalagahan ng data sa ating learning? Kasi accordingly, class, may nabasa kasi ako na um, with the use of your digital technologies, your personal computers, ano pa, handheld devices, application, blog systems, educational, 'di ba? If we are going to utilize these ones in classrooms, no, it would result in the production of new data. Makasynthesize tayo. And also we can do revisions, edits like that. And for us teachers, with the use of these technologies, we can expedite the speed and recording of the success of our students, right? So, accordingly, digital education provides the innovative resources to help teachers tailor and enhance learning for students. So, another class is that with the use of this data, malalaman kasi class ng teacher kung magkakaroon siya ng resources, class ba, kung ano yung mga weakness and strengths ninyo as a student. 'Di ba? Did you know that we tend to integrate technology because technology in education plays a very big role, especially in personalizing learning. Kasi sabi class, education does not operate in one size fits all. We don't need a strategy that is one size fits all because student sa premise ka pa lang na student-centered tayo, learner-centered, it means learners, 'di ba, are unique with each other. We are dealing with different people, different students with different learning styles, needs, learning paces, ganon. So, with the use of technology, we can personalize learning, address their strength and weaknesses. So, with this data in mind, we can use it in personalizing our learning. Ganon. So, accordingly, class, sinasabi na for decades, educators have been securing student knowledge to ensure that it is utilized for instructional purposes. So today, technology creates more knowledge and offers more ways to exchange it. Therefore, take note, sensitive student information is digitized na ngayon, and therefore, security is required. Ganon. So, paano po ba natin maiiwasan? Wait, excuse me. Okay. Paano po ba natin maiiwasan yung or how can we minimize the likelihood of those privacy errors that can affect our students inside our classrooms? Not just in our classrooms but also in our community relationships. So, 'di ba, since the premise here is, 'di ba, data can help us teachers to enhance teaching and learning process right? And the more that we tend to promote this premise class, we tend to gather sensitive student information kasi data yan siya class, information yan siya. So, anong implication nito? So for us class to minimize these privacy errors, okay, we have here no a robust protection system that will help us recognize and reduce threats and allows us to adapt to accidents. So we have this acronym private, okay, that can be considered in developing student privacy protection program in our school. So we have number one, people's engagement. So think of all the professionals in your school or board that will be aware of the privacy policies and work squad. Engaging stakeholders early creates a momentum and performance for the process. So it is very important, class, na engage those engage those all the professionals in our school. Really have to make them aware kung ano po ba yung mga privacy policies natin. So not just the all professionals, but it also your includes your stakeholders. Ganon. You engage people. The professionals, dapat lahat aware sa privacy policies na tinatawag. Next, responsible privacy lead. So the team is important, so you need a central point individual in your school or community who is ready to address queries from friends, parents, or students. So, syempre, responsible privacy lead. Someone would sana mag-lead ng ganitong program, protection program sa ating school. Say for example, 'di ba dito tinatawag na we need a central point individual, someone who is ready to address ano ba mga queries nyo, mga friends, parents, or students. Ganon. Responsible privacy lead. Next. Next, we have here inclusive program. How to have this inclusive program will help us class to minimize the likelihood of privacy errors, would help us no recognize and reduce stress by having this inclusive program. Ano po ba yung meaning nito? So we have to educate parents, not just only those professionals, not just the stakeholders, but um sa stakeholders kasi class, nabilong na yan dyan ng mga parents eh. So dito sa inclusive program, we have to include, no, do not exclude. So include parents. We have to educate them about the robust protection policy and the measures that we should take to secure, no, children's details ng mga kabataan. And then educators and families both continue to improve learning and safety. And when we extend the way we utilize technology at school, at home, and in between. So we both play a position in balancing creativity and security. So we have to educate our parents, families, ganon. Next, volitional practices. When we say volitional, it is something to do with kusang loob, the initiative, okay? Best practices for managing vendors, applications, and devices allow your school to set quality standards for your program. So, hindi lang po parents, teachers, families ang dapat maging aware sa pag-protect ng data or protection policy na tinatawag, but also those vendors na sana magkakaroon ng kusang loob, okay, sa pagprotekta ng student data to safeguard student data. Next, attentive roadmap. So when we say attentive roadmap, we can go back to what is already being done by your school in taking care of students' data. So review the gaps, problems, and previous incidents to create a roadmap. This will help our institution in a more coordinated mechanism. So that's very important, class, no, in planning, in having this kind of program. Very important naman talaga yung tinatawag na roadmap. Kasi kung wala tayong roadmap, class, ay nako, I don't know na lang. Okay? This what do you call this? One, this protection uh policy program inside our school. Siguro kung wala tayong roadmap, dai nadula ka na. Kasi roadmap will lead you to success of the implementation of your program eh. Okay? Ganon. So, lastly, empowering digital education. So, good policies and procedures are important, but awareness is the perfect approach to improve any aspect of the privacy program. So, teach students to safeguard their confidential details and value the privacy of others. We teachers class really have to empower digital education. Yes naman, kasi we are in 21st century na, right? So, kaya lang, 'di ba, in empowering digital education, in implementing the massive use of digital in our education field, 'di ba? Marami siyang benefits. However, we are not immune to errors. We are not immune to challenges, especially those digital divide, ganon, data private, cyberbullying. So, it is very important, class, no, to combat these challenges. Really have to give an effort on how we can able to have this to let the students become aware, no, of the privacy program na tinatawag, become to let to teach these students to safeguard their confidential details and value the privacy of others, ganon. So, 'di ba, confidential details. Especially yung, ano ko naman, yung persona sa TikTok, tong person doon, nagdi-TikTok siya. You know what? Nagvi-video kasi siya. I think na-call out siya, na-suspended ata yun siya. Now we're in class, yung teacher doon, pinapabayaan niya lang yung batang yon nga naga-video. We're in very interrupting na siya sa klase. 'Di ba naga-video, ga-role playing sila class tapos siya ano siya, naga-take siya ng video. So, daw medyo, ano siya, like daw awkward siya kasi naga-roleplay sila tapos siya naga-take ng video, daw naga-vlog siya sulod sa classroom. So, vlogging is okay, but just put it in a appropriate context. Okay? Ganon. So, kayo, no, we really have to teach you how to secure or safeguard your confidential details, as well as we need to value the privacy of others before taking pictures there, class, or video someone or something there. Just ask for permission. Kasi especially kung halimbawa yung babae sa jeep, napakaraming tao sa jeep tapos mag-video, ay, oh my god, sa jeep. yeah, if you tend to if nag-agi siya sa algorithm ninyo sa TikTok, okay, you can relate with what I am saying. Ganun. So, value the privacy of yourself and of course of the other people. Okay? Okay? So now we are done with your data security and data privacy. Now let's proceed to information disorders. So nowadays, class, I know you have probably heard of the term fake news. No, just like what I have heard last meeting, 'di ba? May naririnig ako ng mga fake news, ganun, sa klase natin, 'di ba? You have mentioned that one. So, you know, fake news are rampant today, even in the field of education. You know why? Kasi class, apakaraming fake news talaga ngayon, especially sa mga information, 'di ba? Na we tend to use this sometimes dahil sa katamaran natin sa pag-scrutinize ng mga information, we tend to use information ng mga fake news. Okay? But fake news often conflates two important terms. We have disinformation and misinformation. So, aside from these terms, class, we also have this third category that we call malinformation. So, it is also an emerging concern. So, taken together, misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation are referred to as information disorders. So, let's identify the different types of information disorders. What are the significant differences? Okay, of these three terms. So when we say misinformation, class, this is all about the wrong information provided by someone who has the intention of telling, but it is not or is not informed that the knowledge nga gina-share niya is inaccurate or wrong. This is according to Wardell and Direction 2017. So, in a simple manner, class, misinformation, you tend to give information. The intention of that your intention or your purpose is just to tell something but you're not aware that your information is mali pala. You're wrong, inaccurate. Okay? Say for example, class, may example dito. Sabi daw, for instance, often teachers advise students that underlining or highlighting is an efficient technique when it is simply have no value as a learning tactic. Okay? Yung pag-highlight the class or ang pag-underline is, 'di ba, ng efficient technique daw 'yan. Pero in other hindi wala po daw yang value, sabi. So that is kind of misinformation. Another example class ito. As you can observe, may naririnig kayo. Okay, don't step on the banana peel or the banana yung ng saging kasi mas slide ka daw diyan. We're in class, for the record, wala pa naman class may na-slide sa banana peel. It's just guni-guni mo lang 'yun. Okay? You tend to inform someone with that information, pero wala ka intensyon nga i-deceive sila or what. It's just that mali lang gid ang information mo. Okay? Mali lang siya. And that is what you call misinformation. Sa disinformation naman, class, it is wrong information shared by someone who has intent to deceive and is aware that the information is wrong and deceitful. Sa misinformation, you're not aware nga wrong and inaccurate yung information na yon. Sa disinformation, class, aware ka na wrong yung information and then you tend to share pa rin ito. Kasi ito class is yung tinatawag intention mo dito class is mangloko ng tao. Deceit or deceive people. So prominent example of this one is your fake news. Okay? Alam nyo class yung example nito, yung si Bea and Julia issue. okay, Julia Barreto and Bea Alonzo issue na dati class, okay, with the heat, sa heat ng kanilang issue noon, may mga tao na gumawa ng mga accounts, like poser accounts, like poser ba? Mga poser class. Buta nila pangalan nila, Bea Alonzo, and then they try to, ano, mag-give sang mga, ano dira class. Like, they tend to give opinions. Like, say for example, basta, may nabasa ko nga, nagpapanggap sila na sila si Bea Alonso. Nagpapanggap sila. And then, they tend to spread, class, hate. Okay? Gano'n na hindi naman talaga yung sinabi ng isang tao. So, and sometimes tas may mga fake news din tayo na na napatay na daw si Kuya Kim, ng mga ganun class. So, fake news. Yung alam naman na hindi totoo and then you tend to share pa, 'di ba, with other people. It is so-called disinformation. Okay, don't do that one. Next, we have here malinformation. It is one based on accurate information. Okay, take note. It is based sa malinformation. It is based on accurate information. However, it is intended to harm or malign others. So, say for example, class, when a true information is released, but it violates the privacy of person and the attention is to defame them. Say for example, class, yes, totoo yung information mo na gina-share, but it violated the privacy of the person. Say for example, class, yung conversation ni Zainab and ni Wilbert before, as you can matatandaan nyo dati, may nag-spark na issue between them, wherein ang issue ay yung nag-leak ang conversation, 'di ba? It is true na may sinabi si Zainab, 'di ba? Kung mababasa mo yung conversation na yun, class, no? Totoo ang mga issue. Pero those information, class, okay, those nag-leak na okay? It's very true pa talaga kasi may evidence right? But however, class, no, it violated the privacy of the person. Actually, right now, class, you cannot just post a screenshot of your conversation sa Messenger. Kasi it violates data privacy. As long as naghingi ka ng permission, you ask for consent, no? Kasi dito sa malinformation, you use accurate information to defame people. Kapag sinabing defame, paninirang puri. Ganon yon. So, that is the difference between misinformation. Misinformation, nagbibigay ka ng impormasyon without knowing na mali pala yun. Sa disinformation, alam mo na kung nga mali tong information, still, you tend to share it with other people. Kasi, gusto mo mang loko. Okay, that is fake news. Sa malinformation, you tend to use accurate data, accurate information para manira ka ng isang tao. Okay, ganun. Sa halimbawa kamo may GC kamo, tatlo kamo te, may ginliba kamo dira. Okay? Tapos kay nag-friendship over kamo gipang screenshot mo ang tanan. Nga ginistoryahan nyo and then you tend to post it on Facebook. Ay, tapos gid. Okay? Ganon ha, iwasan ang mga ganyang pangyayari. Okay? So let's proceed sa copyright and plagiarism. So ano po ba yung pinagkakaiba ng copyright and plagiarism? Okay? In this world class, 'di ba? Um ak- uh, Along with the rampant use of fake news, ngayon class, rampant din class ang pag-copy-paste. Aminin, it is inevitable, especially for those students na perme lang kapadali. Okay? Copy-paste is perhaps one of the most popular lexica in digital age. When we say lexica, it has something to do with the word. Okay, language, word, ganon. So it is also easy to do through the shortcut keys in our devices. Ano mga shortcut keys natin? Ito yung Control C, Control V. Okay, Control C mo lang te. Control V, butang mo sa Word, Control V, copy paste na te. In an era where information is accessible to everybody, a good idea for material can be tempting. Sometimes class ma-amaze batag, kuno gibasa ta. And then because it is so very nice to read, very pleasing siya sa eyes ang ano, okay, i-copy paste na lang. And sometimes class, ang worst pa dira, i-copy paste na wala ta pagigibutngan sang mga citation. And ang pinaka-worst pagid is we are able to own that particular material. Okay? That is stealing one's work. Okay? And that is violating someone's intellectual property na tinatawag. Okay? Have you heard the news na before may mga teachers, yung teachers na nagbigay ng public apology kasi kinopy-paste niya lang yung work ng isang estudyante niya? Okay? She owned it. Ganon. That is what you call plagiarism. You own the work, wala ka nagbutang sang citation. That is plagiarism. So, ano pa po ba ang pinagkaiba ng plagiarism sa copyright infringement? Pag sinabing plagiarism, it is the violation of the right of author. Sa plagiarism class, you tend to copy the book, tapos you tend to copy-paste, wala mo ginbutngan sa author. Okay, sino ba yung nagsulat niyan? Okay? Next, copyright infringement. It is a violation of the right of the copyright holder. Yung may hawak ng isang particular na material or book or yung author mismo. Later, magkakaroon tayo ng enlightenment when it comes to the difference between plagiarism versus copyright. So, here, okay, ano po ba yung pinagkaiba ng ito? May mga examples tayo dito, class. Malalaman natin ang difference nila eh. So, plagiarism but not copyright infringement. Ito. Example, a student copies a few sentences of a 20-page book illustrating and describing species of birds to use in an article on evolution submitted for her high school newspaper but fails to provide a citation. Bakit siya naging plagiarism? Plagiarism siya, class, in a sense na gincopy niya, class, ang 20-page book, few sentences lang ang nag-copy, di ba? Nag siya dito. She acquired or she acquired some few sentences of the 20-page book. Pero class, what she failed to do is to provide a citation. That is why nag-plagiarized siya. Kasi that student failed to provide a citation. Pero, hindi po siya tinatawag na copyright infringement. Hindi niya po nalabag yung tinatawag nating copyright infringement or violating the copyright holder. Kasi, hindi niya naman class kinopy yung lahat-lahat ng material. Okay? Hindi niya naman gicopy ang cover to cover ng book na yan. So, kay few sentences lang. So, it's not copyright infringement. Plagiarism, but not copyright infringement. Plagiarism in a sense na wala siya sang citation. Not copyright infringement kasi few sentences lang lamang ang kinopy niya. Ito, copyright infringement but not plagiarism. Dito class, sa copyright infringement, guess what? Ang student, if ang thought mo is ang student gicopy niya ang cover to cover, word for word ng isang paper, that is what you call copyright infringement. Kasi gicopy mo ng lahat. Okay, that is a violation of the copyright holder. Pero hindi po yan siya matatawag na plagiarism kasi dito, you put citation of that article. Kitapi mo yan siya word for word, back to back, cover to cover. Pero may igamay ka pa nga bilin nga huya dera, gimutangan mo na lang sa citation author. Name of the title of the book and the entire is taken from directly from the book. Okay? Copyright infringement, the entire copy or the entire page was taken directly from the book. But it is not plagiarism in a sense na naglagay ka ng author's name. Kasi you cited the author. Okay? Next, both plagiarism and copyright infringement. Okay? If ikaw, Ate Coco, you tend to copy. Okay? You tend to acquire word for word, cover to cover sang book. Ito yon. A young writer hoping to be published copies line for line a popular wizard book series. Okay, back to back, cover to cover. And then Gincopy mo na nga yung isang particular book na yan, whole book, and then ginhambal mo pa nga imo to siya. Okay? Like, you tend to own it. Although nga iya to siya kay iban nga author, that is plagiarism and copyright infringement, mga ate koko. So as a teacher, we really have to, the implication here is we really have to teach our students not to take this, not to commit plagiarism. Okay? It is very important for us to scrutinize information as well as to give proper credit to someone who owns a work. Kasi we tend to violate the intellectual property ng isang tao. So, ganon. Okay? Okay. So, we're done with your digital, no. We are done with your copyright and plagiarism. Now, let's proceed to digital citizenship. So, as introduction class, no, nowadays, 'di ba? Nowadays class, it has said to be the contemporary media, information and technology has changed people's interaction. Of course, 'di ba? Nowadays class, mas prefer pa naton magstay sa balay and then we tend to use with our mobile phones. 'Di ba? With our mobile phones class, we can interact with the other people eh. So, with the use of this media, information that circulate in our digital world, no, and the technology, it really changed our interaction, our mode of interaction. So many of us have devices that we use to connect with the rest of people, not just with our own country, but with the rest of the world, right? Do you agree with that one? Of course. So it proves how modern technology has penetrated our day-to-day lives. Right now, class, I guess, mas right now, as you can observe, mas na-indulge na yung mga tao. Like, they were saturated. We are really technological driven world na. Dati, class, okay, hindi pa uso ng mga Facebook, hindi pa uso ng mga cellphones and all. Just pure TV. We can stay sa sala natin and then we can watch television with our family right now after nyo kaon all your parents, your sisters, and all your family members na di ano na class, saturated na with their own devices. Okay? Mas more ang interaction with the people nga ara sa cellphone in unlike sa interaction in face to face, right? So, technology has become affordable, allowing us to access information and build networks with just one click of our finger. Everything right now is in our tips or is in or on our fingertips. Okay? Our digital connection allows us to transcend the limits of physical boundaries, such as the places where we live in. So, thanks to the internet, the world has become closer than ever before. Ito yung still nagiging debate ngayon. Thus, internet really, no, bring does the internet really bring people closer together or it brings distance? Okay? So it is one of the features of the digital age which makes it distinct from past humans' experiences of being connected with others. So digital citizenship class, it can be digital citizenship can be manifested especially class sa context ng social media. Okay? Social media, right? Nowadays, the most of the people living in this world na anay social media ti. So these are online platforms where we connect, interact, share information with one another. So 'di ba, how can we interact? How we connect with other people? Of course, 'di ba? So right now, class, if nang maka-interact kita with the use of our social media, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, ano pa dyan, YouTube, 'di ba, may interaction? How we can interact, 'di ba? Through liking, commenting, or sharing our post. We can gain attention, right? From other netizens. When we say netizens, these are those people nga ara sa social media. Netizens. 'Di ba? Network, citizen, netizen. 'Di ba? Tayo, citizen, nakatira sa city, citizen. Okay? Network, netizen. Kasi we tend to build networks sa social media. We are so-called netizen. We are those users. Okay? So, these are online platforms where we connect, interact, share information with one another. Okay? The information that we share in our social media accounts, okay, are user generated. So, when we say user generated, class, it means, class, sa social media, we are the ones who generate information. Okay? So, we're the ones who post, no? We generate data there, class. Kita ang naga-post, naga-comment, okay? And generating of this data, it, it what? It gains attention with other people, netizen. Okay? So, 'di ba, hindi man lang tayo ang naga-interact. So, when we say interact, we tend to deal with other people also. Right? So we build connection, we build interaction. That's why, class, sometimes, 'di ba, sa social media, we really have to be careful of what are the contents that we are generating. Kasi accordingly, it influences people that we interact. So it is very important, class, nga tayo, teachers, very careful gid ta, class, sa pag-share, pag-generate ng mga information nga gina-share natin, contents. Kasi did you know, class, sa social media, accordingly, may nabasa ko, class, nga ang mga employer, okay, with your social media in mind, they can check. They can use your social media kung batunon ka ba nila sa trabaho or hindi. Kasi they can evaluate kung mga ginapang share mo dara day, mga ano, IT. Okay, dapat, 'di ba? We teachers, we are expected to share ano daw kuno ng mga professional, what do we call this one? Professional contents. Okay? 'Di ba nakahatag na ko sa examples na before, where in class, it's true that those employers can use social media to evaluate the person that they are going to hire sa trabaho. Yun, social media. So, 'di ba, class, no? So, that is. Kasi, mga tao, you really have to live. When you're using social media, definitely you will use or you will leave a digital footprint. So, that's it. So, you have to leave something na impactful, maka-influence ka, kasi you are influential, right? Pero kung ano ka, lain-lain ang imong ginapa-share dara, ay good luck. Okay? Sa social media, class, the words viral, retweeting, repost, hashtags and fake news are very prominent. Right? Kasi sa social media, may naga-viral, may mga contents dira nga what do we call this one? 'Di ba, may viral kung it entails reaching millions of people 'Di ba? If that post reach millions of people in a matter of few minutes or even seconds, we call that one as viral. With retweet naman, if we retweet hashtags, 'di ba? For us to spread information. Okay? So, ganon. So, viral. Okay? Take note of that one. Viral. Okay? Sa social media, class. Okay? Fake news is very prominent. Kasi, we're the ones who generate contents, information. And Did you know class sa social media, usong-uso yung tinatawag na democratization of information. Kahit sino-sino na lang po ang maka-share ng information or content sa social media. Ganon. So therefore, it leads us to acquire fake news sometimes. That is why it is very really or it is very 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 important no to really evaluate the information. Okay? So viral, ganun ang mga word, retweeting, repost, hashtag fake news. Usong-uso po yan yung fake news sa social media. Okay? Hindi pwede class. May, until now, nababother ako sa mga tao class nga pila na edad nila. Nagapati pa rin or they still believe sa fake news. Kung ano naman mabasa class, no? Very ang social media, no? Mag-circulate sang wrong information. Ganon. So really have to evaluate the information that we are taking or that we are acquiring sa social media. Okay? So, ganon. So, accordingly, social media has significant effect especially sa ating mga estudyante, not just us students kasi 'di ba, if we are able to use social media in a proper way, it is beneficial eh. Kasi it promotes flexible learning also. Okay? Flexible interaction. And it does not just benefit us students, but also those organizations. Say for example, it could help the economy, business, ganon, online marketing, delivery, and the so-called consumption of goods and services. Okay? So, ganon. So, ano pa ba? 'Di ba? We can use social media, no, to for students to learn anytime and anywhere. So, with the use of social media, with digital citizenship, okay? Kasi nagiging ubiquitous yung learning. When we say ubiquitous, anytime, anywhere, kahit saan-saan, kahit saang puok, saang lugar, ganun, with your social media. Kaya lang, may mga drawbacks din. Say, for example, this fake news, okay, it's an ick for me. Okay, that's why you really have to know or you really have to evaluate the information that you are taking. Okay? Next, we say digital citizenship, di ba? The term netizen, we are the so-called netizen, tayo. We're the ones who interact with the social media, with your technologies, netizen ka. Pag sinabi namang digital citizenship, ito yung regular and effective usage of the internet to engage in the society and world, and it is called digital citizenship. So you're the one nagiging digital citizen kate kasi you tend to you are regular member regular user ka ng isang internet, no? And you are the one who engages in society and the world. So that is the so-called digital citizenship. So what are the goals worth pursuing by digital citizens? Ito te. Number one, promoting understanding of cultural diversity and pluralism. So, 'di ba, we citizen of this country, we have to, 'di ba, we are living in this country. So, we are so-called citizen. So, if we are living or we are the ones who in the context of technology or digital world, we are so-called digital citizenship. So, if in our country, we have these goals na pursue, like say for example, ipaglaban ng ating bansa, dito sa digital citizenship, digital world class, we have to promote understanding of cultural diversity and pluralism. Cultural diversity, in a sense, class, dito na yung pumapasok yung kung anong culture mo, tribo mo, language mo, ganon. Values mo, principles mo, morals mo. Kasi class, okay, cultural diversity, mas prominent ito sa example ni Miss Mayo yesterday, right? With the use of our technology class, we really have to, we, as a digital citizen, dapat class tayo yung nagli-lead. Promote understanding of cultural diversity. So we have, instead of spreading fake news or what the, we have to use our technology to promote understanding of cultural diversity, to promote cultural diversity, okay? To showcase our talents, to showcase the different tapestry na tinatawag. Next, pursuing truth and knowledge in conversations. As a digital citizenship class, ang goal natin class is to pursue truth, knowledge. Do not spread fake news. Yan po talaga yung sakit natin. Okay? Mag-spread ng fake news. Okay? Kasi, ay nako. So, that's it. Next, building a peaceful world through positive connections. We have to use social media technology in order for us to build peaceful world through positive connections. Ganon. It is giving 21st century wherein we really have to have this what do we call this one? To have this interconnectedness with other country, okay? Not to have this so-called enculturation and the no, the egocentrism or sinocentrism na tinatawag, yung, are you familiar with that one? Yung gina-promote nyo na mas superior yung culture nyo kaysa sa iba, panalo ang culture namin. Ganon. So instead of having that kind of behavior, why, 'di ba? w- Bakit hindi tayo mag-build ng peaceful world? Okay? So that's it. Instead of showcasing who's superior or inferior, ganon. Okay, instead of that having what do we call this one? Instead of that having behavior, why we have to mag what do we call this one? To collaborate with each other, no? Use this technology for us to build a peaceful world. Okay? Ganon. So, these are the goals worth pursuing by digital citizens. So, accordingly, class, achieving these goals, however, are challenging. This is due to constraints such as cyberbullying, digital divide, plagiarism, privacy, disinformation, and misinformation. And these are the dangers accompanying the expansion of digital horizons. So, ganon, class. 'Di ba, we really have to promote digital citizenship. However, kasi dahil sa tinatawag na mga constraints such as cyberbullying, digital divide, no? Lalo na sa digital divide na tinatawag, no? The goals, no, are quite challenging. So here are the following principles that can inform how we can improve on the matter. Number one, knowing one's rights and responsibilities as a citizen. Of course, sometimes class, 'di ba? Sometimes pinapabayaan na lang natin na halimbawa yung mga naga-rant sa Facebook, hayaan na lang natin sila class, it's their own right as long and as long as 'di ba? 'Di ba may mabasa ta dira class nga sometimes may mga tao nga buyayaw sa Facebook and all, and kung mabasahan the mga personal matters like family matters like that, sometimes ina-post na sa Facebook, no? Pero let's just respect one another. Know that um we have to know that everybody has a right, right? So, as long as it does not affect us, yes, ganun. Next, sensitivity to cultural diversity. Yes, class. Just like what Miss Mayo mentioned yesterday, di ba, nag-share siya ng story or share siya ng experience niya. You know what? Calling someone with that particular word, that someone lacks sensitivity to culture diversity na tinatawag. So wala po yan siyang sensitivity sa mga katulad ni Miss Mayo. So as a teachers, we really have to foster sensitivity to culture diversity. Kasi class, wala namang culture na superior eh. Wala namang culture na inferior. We are all equal. in this world. So, in order for us to maintain peacefulness, no, and harmonious relationship, we really have to foster the culture of sensitivity among the cultural diversity of people, right? Ganun. So next, inform political debate and activism. Okay, use social media class. Okay? It saddens me na lahat ng lumalabas sa social media natin, puro lahat mga memes, 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 no? Mga meme, 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 right? Puro meme lang ang mga prominent na mga content ngayon, papatawa and all. Pero what are social media or what these people, wala naman, I mean, wala naman fault yung social media, no, because it is the ones who control it. Pero sometimes, no, instead of sharing nonsense, dara, why not research about political debate? Say for example, yung mga nangyayari sa Senado, kay Alice Go, Riza Hontiveros, 'di ba? Mas kasi class if we tend to ano that one, promote that one, to inform people, 'di ba? Nagiging bukas ang mata natin sa katotohanan. Ganon. So, ganon. Next, norms of behavior. Okay? I think yeah, norms of behavior and etiquette. So, pag sinabi nating etiquette, okay, maba-discuss natin yan later. Ganon. So these are the principles on how we can achieve those goals, no? So as a digital citizen of this country. Let's proceed for the last slide. Okay. So Nitiquette, when we say Nitiquette class, it is a short term for network and etiquette. Okay. Nitiquette class, if sa physical world, we have this so-called etiquette. When we say etiquette kasi class, these are those um, guidelines, kumbaga, kung ano ba ang mga what is right and what is wrong. Mga conducts, mga rules. So sa network class or sa digital world, we have this so-called netiquette. So since these are applied in digital world, our conducts should be appropriate in the context. So these conducts of behavior online are called netiquette. Okay? Say for example, class, ha, netiquette, may netiquette ka class if you tend to evaluate first ang mga content mo nga ginapang share. That is, 'di ba? So, netiquette, you tend to practice netiquette when you have this, it means respecting the user's views, displaying common courtesy when posting one's views to online discussion groups. Okay, may netiquette ka class if, ito, if you respect for other people's privacy. Okay? People's privacy class. Netiquette. Say for example, mag-take ka some picture, you really have to to ask for consent. Hindi ka magpataka-teka dira. Next, awareness of one's limitation and boundaries. Okay, sorry for the typographical error. Next, sharing of expert knowledge. If you have a etiquette class, if you shared expert knowledge, wala ka daw share sa fake news lamang, no? Kasi it's a big no-no to spread fake news, of course. Next, okay? Adhering to the same standards of behavior that one follows. Ganon. Forgiving of other people's mistakes, knowing how cyberspace work. So, nitiquettes. Wait lang. Ano pa ba yung mga nitiquettes na alam nyo? Well, ano pa ba yung mga common? Wait lang ha. Ta-na-na-na-na. Common etiquette. It's very important ha. Forgive other mistakes. Ano pa ba? Respect the privacy of others. Respect others' opinion. Okay? Kasi class, sa social media, 'di ba? Content generate, tayo po yung nag-generate ng mga contents or information dyan. So, therefore, Plus, may mga particular topics, abe, sa social media na kung saan, 'di ba, pwede tayong mag-disagree and agree. So, sometimes nagkakaroon tayo ng debate sa mga comment section. So, therefore, class, instead of getting angry or getting in heat, 'di ba? We have to respect everyone's opinion. Okay? That is. So, aside from that, we have also, ano pa ba? Um, ano po ba yung forgive mistakes? Okay, yes, forgive the mistakes of others. Okay, forgive the mistakes of others. Okay, ito, forgive of other people's mistake. Ito yung prominent, ito siya ya class sa tong kanino to, di ba class? Prominent kaayo ngayon. Especially mga tao subong very nakasensitive sa mga information. So, sometimes ang mga artista, ikaw artista ka te, uso sa imo te ang mag-public apology. Kasi, okay, I apologize na sabi ko yun. Ang mga tao very man ka-judgmental. Tanan mga pagkatao te, judge ka na. Right? So, nitiket class. Everyone's not perfect. We have limitation and boundaries also. So, gano'n parehas kay kanino, pakarami, eh, kay Vice Ganda. Prominent si Vice Ganda Permin na palagi siyang topic. Very ano 'no, mga jokes niya sometimes ano na. So, people would able to give their comments and all, 'no? So, that is netiquette. And as another example of netiquette class is ito. Ako na maghahatag sa example. Nitiquette class, say for example, ito please kindly iwasan, okay? Kung may madisgrasya ganing class, do not take pictures. Say for example, ng mga dugo-dugo class. Okay, sorry for the word, but it's an ick for me. Mayroon ko sila sa estudyante class, you know, gina-imagine ko palang class, very na siya ka-ug. Okay? So, gina-post pa sa social media. For what? Okay? Mga gabuka-buka na lang pilas mo dira, bloody na siya. I-post pa. For what? You lack netiquette class. If ganon. Next, another, kung may madisgrasya, una pa videohan ang ga 50-50 na dira instead of buligan. You lack netiquette. Kasi, why? You tend to post it pa. Actually class it's actually ang ibang family class they tend to ask for the owner of that video na sometimes i-take down yung mga video na ganun. Okay? Have some etiquette. Okay? Kasi you share content with other people. Next, ano pa ba? Ano pa ba yung ito? Kung it may Arabic ko class nga na ano, na what do we call this one? Kasi class, sa nitiket, dito yung napapasok dito yung class. Yung mga sa mag-review kayo, ano nyo yan, ma-encounter nyo yung mga dapat iwasan. Kasi may mga ano pa class na mga ano good na mga contents. It's like not giving contents, okay? Not giving. So, beware of sharing those, okay? Ganon. So, all in all, okay, ganon lang po yung ating, ano, in a nutshell. So, social media and digital platforms have significant effects in our interaction and use of information. Okay, just like face-to-face, our conversation in the digital world are guided by certain rules of conduct. Ganon po yun. So, the basic netiquettes help us to have more positive and meaningful interactions in the digital world. So, ganon. So, ganon po yung all in all ng ating social media or digital citizenship. Okay? So, kindly review all the materials I sent to you sa messenger, sa group chat, and then this one. Okay? So, I don't need you to memorize everything. Just purely understanding and analyzing the questions. We are all good. So, this is all for today. Good day, everyone. Thank you so much. Ta-na-na-na-nan. Ta-na-na-na-nan. OMG, wala pa rin siya napatay. Okay, wait. Hope you have learned something today, ha. Just PM me if something bothers with your mind. Okay? Thank you and good luck for your examination.